Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too. Underground Gospel Radio.
Yeah, we're gonna actually get into the title, man. We're gonna actually get everybody tuned in, man. Go ahead, real quick. Again, go ahead and click like and share. Get your people in the building, man. We got a great topic. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it, man, and go ahead and dive right on into this thing, man. And I know this is a topic that a lot of people can actually relate to. Not just leadership, not just churches, but people on the outside of the church that's looking in. I would say it that way. But we're gonna go ahead and dive right into the topic, man, and get this thing rolling, man. So, man, listen, the topic for this week here is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Straight to the point, straight like that. I think wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is very important for this day and time, because I believe society is dealing with a lot of ignorance. It's a lot of ignorance that's that is going on in today's society. But guess what? It's really a bunch of ignorance that has creeped up in, the church setting, where people are ignorant to a lot of different things. But guess what? They are empowering people in their ignorance because of, if you think about it, a lot of people don't really know and understand what they believe in.
Right.
And I think that's important to start out to know what you believe in first before you start empowering people.
Right.
And I think that's really important. I think that, the church is missing that, and which will now, try to educate the people that are not in church, to empower them or to encourage them or to, get them inside, where to know Jesus, but they are ignorant to the same context. So I think, now we want to deal with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and, a better way to, really explode in this topic is our brother Ken, man. And I think, with his platform, wisdom is currency is definitely a needed platform for this day and time, because he really encourages people, man, throughout his platform. He really gives people, a lot of knowledge and wisdom, man, and, in the same sector. So, man, I'm gonna give him a little moment, man, to really kind of let us know how, this all came about and how his platform came about, man. Go ahead, man. Let us know what's going on with your platform.
Man, I tell you again, brother, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm really excited about the platform Wisdom is Currency. It's something, like you and I were talking earlier, like God literally has been created and positioned in this thing for about 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm just now seeing and walking into things that he showed me glimpses of 20 years ago. And just to watch how he strategically put everything together and everything in place, you being again a big part of it, man, because we got some stuff that I think are definitely going to be very instrumental to the teaching and the platform.
Absolutely.
But God is just so awesome, brother. And the bottom line is this, man: wisdom is an actual currency. And wisdom is actually the currency of heaven, right?
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you how we kind of got here in a bit. But we don't understand as believers that if you understand wisdom as a currency and understand how to tap into wisdom, and then also understand how to convert wisdom into cash, right? Wisdom is a currency. Cash is a currency, right? If you go to another country, you have dollars, but if they don't take dollars, you're going to have to convert your dollars into whatever currency that they take, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so we can get the wisdom from heaven, but then we also have to understand how do we convert that wisdom into actual dollars that we can use here that's accepted in America and wherever else you go, but actual dollars, right?
Right.
Wisdom itself is an actual currency. It's a tangible currency. And the beautiful thing about it is that God is so abundant in wisdom that he says, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of me,
Mhm.
and I will give to him freely, without even any the word he uses, without any conditions. In
Yeah,
other words,
yeah.
he said, I'm not going to ask you any questions.
Mhm.
I ain't going to ask your background. You ain't going to have to try to prove yourself to me. None of that.
Right.
If you simply ask me for wisdom because I have it in abundance,
Mhm.
I will give it to you in abundance, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the key is when he gives it to us, we have to be willing to spend the time to actually get it. And that's the core of the ministry, right?
Wow.
So now that I said that, let me kind of back this whole thing up because I want y'all to understand, man, I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and when I say I'm a regular dude, like I'm a dude. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I ain't. It don't take that much from me. You know, give me
Yes.
some chicken and put it in front of my TV and look at the music playing. I'm good. I don't need all that extra. I'm just regular. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
But you know, for he who calls, he qualifies.
Absolutely.
So let me tell you my story real quick. So probably about maybe 13, 14 years ago, right?
Mhm.
I was at the house, same house you used to come to.
Yeah.
When we used to do the music, same house. And God woke me up. It was probably about like 3 in the morning, right?
Okay.
And he normally, you know, we're praying people, so you know, I don't know why God liked to talk at that time of the morning. I don't know, but he just liked to talk at 3 o'clock. So it wasn't nothing new that he woke me up, but this particular time, he woke me up, told me to go in the living room, right?
Okay.
So I'm in the living room and I'm sitting there, and it's completely pitch dark. There's
Okay.
nothing going on. He didn't instruct me to put on any music to set atmosphere for prayer or worship. None of that. I'm just sitting there in the dark,
Okay.
in my chair, and I'm just sitting there. And I'm like, okay, God, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there for a while, and then all of a sudden, man, I heard his spirit speak. He says, "Do you understand the secrets to mastering time?" Right? Do you understand the secrets to mastering time? And I had never even heard nothing like that. So that's why I knew it was God. Because I'm like, well, where'd that come from?
Right.
And so I said, no, Lord. I talked to God just like I'm talking to you. I said, no, Lord, I don't understand the secrets to mastering time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then he tells me, he says, for the believer, you master time the same way you master money. Now, I don't want to get into a debate about the tithe, right? Because we can do that on another teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for us believers, I believe scripturally it teaches us that we master money by the tithe. We give God a 10% of our income, and then God is able to take that 90% and he blesses us. And he actually calls that 90% to go above and beyond what we need.
Right.
But that 10% is something we give to God. We give it not so much back to the preacher, but we give it back to God. It's part of our partnership.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a biblical principle,
Right.
tithing. Right.
Right.
And if you learn to tithe, that's actually our way as believers. One of the secrets to wisdom is being able to master money. We master it partially through our tithe.
Yeah.
But he asked me about time, not money, right?
Okay.
And so he said that the same way you master money, you're going to master time with a tithe of your time. God asked me to give him 2.5 hours of my day. Now there's 24 hours in a day, right?
Okay.
So if we give him 10%, that's 2.4 hours. So we'll round it out. We'll say 2.5 hours.
Okay.
He said, give me 2.5 hours of your day. And so he said, if you give me 2.5 hours of your day, I will teach you the secrets to mastering time.
Okay.
Now, when he said that, I said, man, that's kind of crazy, right? Because I knew when he told me he would teach me the secrets to mastering time, I knew that also meant that if I mastered time, he would be showing me the way to accumulate wealth, right?
Okay.
Now, he didn't tell me I'm going to show you to get wealth. He said, I'm going to show you the secrets to mastering time, but I knew by mastering time, that would be one of the secrets to getting wealth. And so I said, okay, 2.5 hours. I said, man, I'm starting to think about it. I said, okay, so it's 24 hours in a day. If I sleep for 8, what does that still leave me? About 14. If I go to work for another 8, what does that leave me? Another 7.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, so if I have that 7, then I done 8, I done went to work. All right, if I want to eat and do whatever else I want to do, I said that may leave me another 5. I said, now other 5, I can basically do whatever I want to do, right?
Right.
So I realized asking for 2.5 hours really wasn't that much. Like it's something I or anybody that wants to do. You know,
Right,
people
right.
sit in front of Netflix for 4 or 5 hours a day,
Listen.
binge watching 3, 4, 5 hours go by like that.
Yeah.
So we can't say we don't have the time. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And he told me, he said, you know what? I want you to give me the first 2.5 hours of your day. And I want you to spend time in the Word. I want you to spend time in prayer. And I just want you to commune with me, right? 2.5 hours. So I said, okay, good. I said, I can do that. And I knew when I'm talking to him, again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, man, if I do this, I know it's going to be a major shift in my finances. I knew it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But so he gave me the instruction. I had it. It was clear. I was settled. I said, 2.5 hours. I can give God that. There ain't no problem. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get this done. Right?
Yeah.
Now, for the next 5 years, I did everything other than what he told me to do. Bruh, he asked for 2.5 hours. I ain't giving him 2.5 minutes.
2.5.
I come in, we do our we
Yeah,
pray
yeah,
when
yeah.
we get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I didn't do what he told me to do. I just went off and I just started building business. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started photography and all that different stuff.
Absolutely.
And in a lot of ways, things were going okay. But for the amount of time and effort I was putting into it,
Right.
it wasn't really equaling up, bro. It was like I always felt like I never had enough time.
Yeah.
And I always felt like over that 5 years, like my money, it was okay, but I was never able to walk into the abundance.
Yeah.
And I went on through this for I'm trying to speed this story up. I went through this for about 5 years, man. And I always remember, even in the toughest time, I was like, man, I remember God told me about giving him those 2.5 hours. It always would come back to me, right?
Yeah.
Until finally about 5-6 years later, I gave up. I got tired. And I said, okay, God, I'm tired of trying to do this thing on my own.
Yeah.
I'm finna go ahead and give you those 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? I'm finna go ahead and I'm finna do it. And so I said, okay, if I do that, that means I got to start waking up about 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I can get my stuff done. I give you those first 2.5 hours, and I'm going to do it. Right.
Okay.
And so I started doing it. Right. And immediately he told me to go to the book of Proverbs. And so I'm starting to read. I was starting to read the book of Proverbs, and I was taking my time, man. I was like, I would read like one scripture, and I didn't just try to read it to get it through it fast. I said, I'm going to just digest this. So I would read one scripture, and then I would go through and break down every word, pull out my concordance, and I would just really just study it. So it would take me about like a month or two to get through one chapter of Proverbs, right? Because I was going slow, right?
Okay.
But about maybe 3 weeks into doing that, right? Now, here's where the secret comes, man. Pay attention what I'm about to share with you. Listen. So about 3 weeks into it, I'm working, and then he began to share with me about wisdom, and wisdom is currency. And again, we'll get more into that in the scriptures later on. And so as I'm digging, he began to share with me how he will show you strategies and techniques, and he will give you ideas on how to master time and how to multiply things, right?
Right.
So the first thing he told me to do was he said, now give you a backstory. I've been a photographer, for all this. So I've been doing like portraits and weddings and all that stuff, and working hard, making okay, but nothing spectacular. And so then God told me while I was in time with him, he said, I want you to do a promotion for headshots. And so I said, God, okay, headshots. Who want to do headshots? That ain't nothing.
Right.
Headshots. It's like, and then he said, I want you to do a promotion for $75. And he said, you know what? I just want you to do that for a couple of weeks. So I was like, I don't want to do headshots at all. And now you're talking about doing headshots for $75? Like, that don't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? I was leaning to my own understanding. Right.
Right.
But I said, nevertheless, God, I've been spending time with you. You're giving me this instruction. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do it. Right. So I started doing headshots. Right. And keep in mind, before I was doing the headshots, we had a studio that had just been sitting there. The one you came there, and we had just been paying the monthly bill on it. We haven't been using it. Like I used to go there maybe once or twice a month to do a session. So that studio, which should have been an asset to me, was really nothing more than a liability. I mean, I was spending $1,000 $1,200 every month, and it's just sitting there.
Right.
And so finally, when he told me to do the headshots, I said, well, shoot, I already got the spot, so I just go over and start doing that, right?
Right.
So anyway, I started doing the headshots, and after I'm doing the headshots and I'm putting the promotion out the way he told me, people started booking this thing immediately, right?
Okay.
And so then I'm starting to look at it, and I said, you know what? I said, really, when I look at the numbers, if I'm doing these headshots, I'm really only working maybe like 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And I'm making way more money than I was when I was doing the other thing. And it's easier.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to work it, and I'm working it. And so then after about another week, I'm saying, you know, I'm making a lot more money than what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And it's easier. And then he came back. He said, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can have the resources. You can have the talent.
Yeah.
You can have all the assets. You can have all those different things. But if you don't have the wisdom to be able to know how to properly leverage it, you'll never get the most out of it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had the resource. You have all this stuff, but you don't have the wisdom, right? And this is a case where wisdom was converted into more dollars because he gave a strategy.
Yeah.
Because I was willing to spend the time with him.
Wow.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
And so I don't want to hog the conversation.
Oh, no, you good.
I want us to really kind of dig into this thing.
Yeah.
But I need our people to understand that you should never, a believer should never be broke.
Right. You better say that again.
Right.
You better say that again.
Should never be broke. And the reason why is because a believer always has access to a God that's willing to give them wisdom.
That's it.
And give them instruction on how to convert that wisdom into actual cash.
Man.
But yet and still, a lot of the church folk are suffering financially.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
But that's what the platform is about. Let's understand this stuff so that God's people can get free.
Yes.
To get the money so that we ain't just shouting and preaching on Sunday and have no effect in the marketplace on Monday.
Say that.
We ain't got no dollars. We ain't got no influence. We ain't got no assets. We can't bless nobody. Best thing we can do to the homeless man is give him a scripture.
The
man want a sandwich.
You are so right about that, and I think that's very important, though. I think, it's very important that the people, but you know what? One thing that I don't understand is that, the people, they blame tithing on why they're broke. They blame tithing and they blame, what they give the church on why that they don't have it to give, or they'll blame something according to what they have to sacrifice for God as to why they can't give or why they don't have. You understand? And now, and that's one thing that I never understood. Why is it that believers are the most brokest people, in today's society? Why is it that?
Because they don't believe like they say they do.
Wow.
For example, I was listening to him tell his story, and that's the thing I tell people. When I lost my job, I told God, I will continue to give as long as you provide a way for me to give.
Right.
And that's what he would do if we really trust and believe him. But we get so caught up on the paycheck instead of caught up on him.
Wow.
So we can't expect him to do something because we worried about, is the paycheck going to hit on Friday? But what if he got another blessing that's going to hit on Thursday before Friday get here? We can't see that because we're so caught up on what man's giving us instead of what he's able to really do for us.
I think that's good. True. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So true. I think to add to that, brother, God is very strategic in what he does. He don't just ask for something. He understands why he's doing it, right? And so one of the things that the tithe does is, just as my brother was saying, it keeps us consciously tied to God with our money. Right? If consciously, if we know that I'm setting aside 10% towards him, then what happens is consciously we are acknowledging our partnership with him, and we're also consciously and doing a faith act saying that I don't trust in man for this money. This is my faith act saying that, God, I trust you, so I'm giving you this 10% first because I'm in covenant with you. You're my source.
Yeah.
Now, the job or whatever else you choose to do is a resource. And that resource, you may cause that resource to change. But I can never allow myself to get to the point where that job or anything else becomes my God.
Right.
And a tithing relationship with him keeps that. It's a mechanism that God put in place for us to keep us to in a mindset where he can bless us.
Wow.
And so you have people that are believers. Some of them won't tithe, and this could go both ways, by the way.
Okay.
Right? Because I want to clear this up, right? So you can have believers who tithe and are broke, and you can have believers that don't tithe and are broke.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right? So a lot of times, if you see a believer who doesn't tithe and are broke, and the reason why that is because in the area of their money, what they're doing is they're leaning to their own understanding and they're trying to work out their life in the wrong way.
Wow.
Now, the problem is this: if you are a believer, things of the world and methods of the world ain't going to work for you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're not paying tithe, and now you're trying to tap into a system as a believer that's not designed for you to prosper.
Right.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's for the people that aren't tithing. Now, you also have people that tithe, but tithing again is a part of it. It's a part of it. It's the mechanism that God gave so that consciously we're acknowledging our partnership with him. But then we also now have to take the instructions that he gives to us, and now we have to apply those instructions.
Right.
So you may have people that pay tithe, but beyond that, you know the old saying goes, they're so heavenly minded, they're no naturally good.
Right.
They pay that tithe, but
Yeah.
then they don't operate in their faith in a way that they're consciously trying to do things and behaviors that are going to make them money.
Right.
They're just assuming that because I gave the 10%, then that's all I got to do.
That's all.
Oh.
No, that's not all you got to do.
Okay.
You still have to work your faith.
Yes.
There's still principles that you still have to work.
Right.
You
Wow.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand
So
that.
it goes hand in hand. But the bottom line is us as believers, we have a complete different way that we have to approach finances that unfortunately a lot of it is just not being taught.
Right.
It's not being taught to us in the churches. It's not.
Wow.
And that's why so many churches are broke and not able to pay the rent week after week.
Yeah.
Because they don't know and they're not able to teach it. And we have to break that. God wants to bless our people, man. It's so crazy now, bro, where if you talk, people don't think that you're supposed to have a conversation about God and money in a positive way.
Wow. Yeah.
If you talk about God, you better not talk about money.
You better not, because
And if you're talking about money, they want to leave God out.
they want to leave them out altogether. And I think,
Which is crazy.
which is very crazy, and I think it's really due to the ignorance of the teaching. And the teaching of, back then where they were very ignorant to the context and Bible and, because it all starts from the person that is teaching, even way back in the Roman days when they was crucifying Jesus, man, the way they understood context and teaching and different things of that nature was different, man, because they did not know. The Romans actually crucified Jesus as in ignorance, even in. And it was such a different type of ignorance that they actually was bestowed upon, that was on them, and they still did it anyway. So right now, even in our perspective now, where we talk about money and talk about God and talk about church, they equate that to evil. They equate that to something that is not good, and that's why even with believers and church people or whoever you believe now, when buying buying a house is such a major thing. You understand? It's such a major blessing, which it is a major blessing because some people can't, get it. But however, they equate that to, man, God was able to do this, God was able to do that, and I was able to get into my own home. Now it's they equate so many different things because of wrong teaching.
Yeah.
Because of wrong teaching. And now, when we're talking about wisdom, if people will get a hold of the wisdom, and wisdom where it can bring currency, where it can bring an understanding. And I think that's a really important thing too, where we can get the wisdom, we could get the knowledge, but it's the understanding is where we would actually be able to gain, because of the understanding of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
One of the things, man, and I encourage you guys, because I know we can't go into all this on one program. But one of the things, when you guys really get a chance and go into like the Book of Proverbs teaches more about business than what we even care to even acknowledge. It has biblical business and principles that if you just really focus on those principles there and master them, it's nothing there to make you a multimillionaire, right? But one of the things, before we even start talking about the money, is we got to understand, man, that wisdom and understanding, there's a spirit of wisdom and there's a spirit of understanding, right? And we have to be able to invite them into our life, and we have to have a relationship with them. Right. Just like we have a relationship with the Holy Spirit, right, which is the third person of God. We have to develop a relationship with wisdom, and we have to develop a relationship with understanding. Right? So a lot of times in my prayer time, when we're set and I acknowledge God the Father, and I invite the Holy Spirit to come in and dwell, I also invite the spirit of wisdom to come into the room and the spirit of understanding. Yes. And I welcome them. Yes. And I acknowledge you and I appreciate your presence here. And I turn my ear and I choose to commune with you. Right. Because these are, again, I know, I don't know how deep y'all want to go right now, but this is an area that we're not being taught. I mean, I'll say this without going too far to the left. My mentor turned me on to another podcast called Kosher Money. Right? Okay. Check that out if you get a chance. Okay. But it's some Jewish brothers and sisters who talk about money. Right? Okay. And they talk about the Jewish perspective of wealth and so on and so forth. When I started listening to that, one of the things that really jumped off the screen to me was I noticed that the Jewish people have a deep relationship with the spirit of money. Now, if you talk to the average Christian, even say something like that, a spirit of money, immediately they're going to try to demonize.
Listen, they will demonize this thing.
Oh, the spirit of money. Oh, you got the spirit of money on you.
Yes, they will, man. They will. That is true.
Because of a lack of understanding. You understand what I'm saying? But Jewish people have a relationship with the spirit of money. Right. And if you look at the Jewish people, they are the top, especially when you look at the percentage of the population they are the most blessed people. Yes. Period. Like in terms of population and looking at the amount of wealth that they've been able to accumulate. And a lot of that is, again, because they have a relationship with money and they begin to teach that relationship to their children starting at a young age. Right. Even when they have, the Passovers and the Rosh Hashanah and all those different things, they teach them these things year after year after year after year. Right. And so as they're growing up with that revelation and that understanding of the spirit of money and the appreciation behind it. We don't have that in the body of Christ. No. We don't have that. It's not taught that to us. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so a lot of my time was really just understanding, okay, let me sit down and let me acknowledge wisdom. Let me acknowledge understanding. Let's commune with you. Right. I want you to be able to be free to speak to me and share the words of the Father. If you guys also, again, I'm so full right now. Go to the Book of Proverbs, 8th chapter. Okay. Right? And read the entire 8th chapter of Proverbs. And the 8th chapter of Proverbs is really the spirit of wisdom is
Yeah.
really talking,
Yeah.
but the spirit of wisdom is flexing.
Ah.
It's man, bro. I'm telling you, when you read this stuff, it's saying stuff like, "I was there
Uh-huh.
when there was nothing but
Yeah, yeah.
the stars and all that."
Yes.
He looked to me.
Yes,
For
yes.
advice on how to be able to do this and do that.
Yeah.
Before there was a heaven and earth, I was there.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So wisdom was really letting us know, like, look, y'all better put some respect on my name.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Put
Yeah.
some respect on my name.
Right, right.
Because God used wisdom in creating everything that we know.
Yes.
Scientists
Yes.
are still trying to figure out
Man.
how His
Man.
glory. They can't even
Still trying
they're
to
still
figure it out.
studying. Still trying to- this universe still expanding.
Still a mystery.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. They look at the ocean. They say they've only explored 10% of the ocean. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Wow.
It's millions
Yes.
of gallons of water and all with sea creatures and all these that he done created. But all of those things started from wisdom. It started from wisdom. And so the first thing what we have to do is get back to a place where we honor and we respect wisdom.
Yes.
And then position ourselves to be able to hear the influence and have that influence in our life.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
telling you, and what we do, there's no excuse
Absolutely.
because the amount of wisdom that you receive
Mm-hmm.
is in direct proportion to the amount of time you spend with God.
Hmm.
And that's good. That's good because I was sitting here thinking about that. How you said that, how he told you just 2.5 hours. And that's the thing.
Right.
We don't want to give up any of our time to really just commune with
brother.
him. Because if we would really sit down and commune with him one-on-one, it gives him opportunity for him to speak to us about many things. But we don't want to take that time to get the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding of what he really wants us to do. We want to jump on our own gun. We want to jump off and open this business, open this, and it's not what he may have planned for us. I tell people
brother.
all the time that it ain't my life. It's the life that he have planned for me already.
Yeah,
He have
yeah,
already
yeah.
planned these things. So if I follow what he gives me and not detour off of that plan, I'll be what he wants me to be. But when I get to self and self want to do his own thing, I may end up broke, homeless, carless, or whatever because I'm not communing with him. I'm not having that one-on-one relationship with him. And like you said, these type of teachings is what the church needs to go back to because we're not
gotta go
passing
back.
nothing down.
Yeah.
We're not
yeah,
passing
yeah.
nothing but
Yeah.
brokenness and how to go broke and how not to have nothing, how not to trust God. But me, I'm the type of person, we need to pass this down to the younger generation because it's not being taught.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
not, they
Well,
don't know.
And then what's happening, which we're seeing, this is why the youth are leaving the church in droves, right?
Yes.
Because listen, even if their heart wants to do right, they don't have many examples of people prospering God in a godly way.
Yep.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so what they do is they say, okay, well, I want a nice ride. I want to be able to go on vacations and all these different things. And you're not able to teach me how I can have God and that.
Yes. Yes.
Right? We've been trying to tell people you either have God or that.
Yes. Yes.
And God's saying you can have that and me. Now, to have him and that is going to require you to be willing to sacrifice some things. Right? But that 2.5 hours, bro, God lives in eternity. So the amount of time don't matter to him. It's irrelevant.
Nothing. It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But what happens is it's a sacrifice for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
You
sacrifice.
understand?
Right.
It's
right.
a sacrifice for me. And the only way that I'm willing to make that sacrifice is if I love him enough to want to spend time with him.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we don't have a time issue.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
have a heart issue.
Yeah.
Listen, and I think that's very important what you just said, man. It's the time is definitely is not really that significant for God, man. It's like time is nothing to God, but it's just a sacrifice. And the teachings, and and I want to let because we don't give, and you said something really nice. You said it's a heart thing.
Yep.
My thing is we're so busy trying to rise up
Yep.
that we forget to wise up.
Right. Right.
We really forget to do that because we're so focused on rising and being above and being being over something else or being more than I could be. And that, but then once you get to that point of rising or elevation or becoming more than what you can possibly become, then you don't have the wisdom to keep sustain and to stay above.
So true.
You know what I'm saying?
true.
So we really get caught up in that rising point and that rise. God gonna take me up out of this, and God gonna rise me and elevate me and enlarge my territory, and this and these are things. You can speak those things, but if you don't have the wisdom to keep those things, then you've wasted time.
Right. I mean, like you just said, enlarge my territory. But see, what they fail to realize is the devil will give you an insight of what God really wants to give you. He'll let you get there before time for you really supposed to be there. But you so caught up on I want to rise up. He'll let you rise up for that moment and let you see and let the world see you fall all over again. You saying you trust in God, you done rose up and you got all this, and you gonna lose it all.
Wow.
But that's the thing, though. We get so caught up on that rise up that we don't, like you said, we ain't wise about it. We don't consult him about our next move. We don't consult him about how he want us to do our next move. We get so caught up on us. And not him. That's the thing. We got to be so caught up in him that when we rise up, then it'll all go together.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think that's good. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah,
Man, listen.
That's the thing, because like he said, though, so many young people look at church and they be like, well, we want the nice cars, we want the houses, we want this and we want that. And they be like, well, it ain't all about money. And it ain't about money.
Yeah.
But these are teachings that these young people need to know, that you can still be young, handsome, beautiful. You can still drive a nice car. You can still have a nice home. You can still wear the finest and not have to go into the streets and get this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people all the time. People are like, how are you surviving? How are you living? How are you doing these? I tell them every day of my life, it ain't me, it's God.
Yeah.
Because when you walk away from a job and you trust him and he have made a way and you live better because now you trust him compared to when you was on that job, that's when you can really show them. That's why I tell people all the time, my cars, my home, my whatever, it ain't me. Because some days in business, I don't make a sale at all.
Right.
I don't sell anything, but I don't look at that sale. I don't look at the person. I look at God. God, you told me this is the path. I'm walking it. You're going to show me the next step. You're going to show me how to continue to have this life. And,
Right.
7 years.
Yeah.
I've lived better 7 years than when I was working for another man's job. But when I left that job, I told God, if you help me, if you show me, if you give me the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of how to provide for my family, I'll do that. And I put my faith in him and told him to lead the way. And from then to now, he have not failed me yet.
Hey, that's good stuff right there. That's right. He won't. And you won't. You won't. I'm telling you, this is actually a great topic because it's really, it's also educational, but it's also a spiritual wake up call because it's really time for believers to not be broke.
Right.
You understand? And stop, penny pinching. Here it is, you're a believer and you really professing the name of God, but yet you suffering and you struggling and you check the check, or your business is struggling, or you are in a homeless situation. Now you are in a situation where you can't provide for your family because of the lack of knowledge of wisdom and how to really listen to God. At any aspect or perspective of your life, how to listen to God. And I retract on your story where it took God told you to do something, but it took you 5 years to actually get right back to where he was actually telling you what to do. But then you seen the significance. Now imagine what you would have did if you would have did that 5 years ago.
Let me tell the whole story, Stokes. Because look, I told y'all I'm a real dude, right? So after 5 years, right? And so I finally said, you know what, God, I give up. I'm gonna do it your way, and I did it. And then boom, within like a month, everything's flowing, and I mean, like, money's coming, Like I'm like, yo, like this is like transformational, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, instead of giving him 2 hours, I gave him an hour. I gave him 45 minutes.
And that's being real. That's being
Yo,
real.
God, look, I'm gonna get with you tomorrow. And let me tell you what happened, bro. Like almost overnight, as fast as it went up, I saw it come back down. Boom.
Wow.
Boom. Just like
wow.
that. And that time, I was like, nah. Okay, I done already saw this works.
Yeah.
Now let me take a step back from everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I ain't finna play with this anymore.
Right.
Wow.
Let me sit down and break this thing down and understand why it really works. Right. So this way, if I step again, it ain't gonna be out of ignorance. It's just gonna be out of I knew better and just chose not to do better. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And so for about 6 months after that, that's when I really kind of just got in, man, and just he broke it all down. I'm writing. I got pads and paper, and I'm in the Greek, I'm in the Hebrew, I'm in everything because I'm trying to really get this understanding. And he laid it out, and that's where the Wisdom is Currency came from, and the platform, and the upcoming book, and all these different things. Because now I want to teach people these things. And my plan now is I'm not just going to just tell you. I'm not going to be a talking head.
Right.
I'm going to get out there and I'm going to build some stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to document the process. And so I'm going to let you see where I am now. And I'm going to allow you to see over the next 2 years what God is going to do, and I'm going to teach you these principles as we go, right?
Yeah.
So what I've been doing is I record every day, which I'll probably re-release it because Facebook shut down my Facebook page. That's a whole nother other story. As soon as I start teaching this, by the way. Now, I had the same Facebook page, 5,000 friends, all that different stuff, well-connected, a lot of organic. As soon as I started teaching this, within a week, they disabled that page. So I started building it all back up. But anyway, so I'm going to re-release it. But what I'm doing is I'm recording and documenting the whole process. And what I want people to understand is, we're gonna look at the scripture, break it down, get the spiritual revelation. But I want that stuff to parallel into natural solutions. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna start understanding the real estate market. We're gonna understand government contracting. Government contract is a big deal right now, right? We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about Airbnbs. We're going to talk about those things. We're going to understand these vehicles, but we also have to make sure first we get the spirit right behind it first, so that we're not just out there trying to build stuff. We're doing it in purpose. Right. That's what the platform Wisdom is Currency is about.
Oh, that's actually really good, man. And I think that the body of Christ really needs something like that, and actually someone to teach that, because and I think in all you're getting, get some understanding is very vital and important. Come on, man. Because here it is, we're good at teaching the word, but we're not good at teaching principles of life, principles of, really survival, and really excelling in, things that you was just saying, government contracting, how to gain the wealthy of and the riches of today's society and in the world. You understand? So how can we make the enemy our footstool if we still the same level as the enemy? Right. You understand? Or we asking the enemy.
Let me tell you, man, he been sharing stuff over the last 6 months to a year, bro, and just opening up my eyes and giving some understanding about a level of money that people are making, and they're doing it easily. Like the thing, but we're working hard for it, and they done figured out ways to make money easy way. Like the government contracting, for one, man. I understand that the government is spending $7 trillion a year. You know how much money black folk get of that?
Wow.
You may get like a half of 1%.
Half of 1%.
They set aside 26% for minority and women-owned business.
Yeah,
we're not even showing up because we just don't know. And when I say black folk, I understand that means church folk too. We don't know. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And so again, the problem is that people are they're separating it. They think that, okay, God just want me to be spiritual and I'm just saved and just me and my house and that's it. But they don't want to also understand that that same God wants us to be multimillionaires with a clear vision and purpose and resources and assets to be able to do whatever he wants us to do here on the earth.
Wow.
We need money to be able to do this stuff, but we scared of the money.
Man. Who you telling, man?
But like you said, though, in the Bible it says we perish for the lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We don't have people teaching this actual knowledge in the church. They'll teach you everything about the Bible.
Yeah.
Well, they'll teach you what they want to teach you about the Bible.
Right,
but when it comes to certain things like financial growth and different things like that, they're not teaching that.
Yeah.
That's what we lack in. And then that's the thing, like you said, if we know better, we'll do better. But how can we do better if we never learn better?
We never learn better. Yeah, but
you know what happens too, brother, is those that try to teach it quickly become unbalanced in the teaching, and that's where we got the prosperity preachers and all that stuff, and people just name it and claim it. We got very unbalanced. Unbalanced. So like we're going way over there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's just not balanced. Yeah. And so what we have to be able to do now is be able to tie in the spiritual with the natural, put those two things together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And make sure we understand that this is God's intent.
Yes.
That's the way that he wants us and desires for us to live, Yeah. And it takes balance because God don't want to just give us a bunch of money and your soul tore up.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
What the scripture? What profits a man to gain
the whole world and lose his soul?
And lose his soul.
Yes,
So it isn't that God doesn't want to give us the money. What he wants to make sure is that he has, through wisdom and time, positioned us where we can balance both money and our spirituality.
Absolutely. That's
what we need the time to do. That's what we need the teaching to do.
Yes. I think that's important that we we understand those those significance of how to become more than where we are and get out of where we are, because here it is where we're just sitting there and we're just taking whatever comes our way because here it is, the church is so busy, the wealth is laid up for the just. You understand? So and then instead of saying, hey, listen, man, how about we collectively get this understanding understood of how we can collectively bring in income for the betterment of our household and the betterment of the church, and we can be more sufficient in our giving and more sufficient in what we're doing outside of the church. You know what I'm saying? Giving back to the communities, because there is no reason why every church in the ghetto cannot support that community, cannot give back to that community, cannot go ahead and sponsor different things to bring that community up. Your neighbor should not have a tore down mailbox, that the same street the church is on. Your neighbor shouldn't have those. But when this is actual community, especially if the church is in this community and all the community is going to the same church, you understand? But we get to that thing where the church can't afford it. The church is not giving the way they used to. The church ain't get their first of the month check. You got people in here that ain't get that they got on a fixed income and all these different things. But the church, instead of grabbing and taking, instead of being able to give out, information, give out teachings, give out classes, give out there's simple things that you can put out there. Truck driving schools. These are different things that can actually better not only the community, but better your church and better the people that is going to the church. It should not always be, come and give your tithe, come on, shall a man rob God? All these different things. So that's how this is where the church lacks and the body lacks and the believers lack in getting, wealth, and being wise about it. You got to really understand these things. Wisdom is, like you said, your platform is currency because you will have more if you understand it.
Yep.
And let me just plug this in there real quick, man, because I agree with you. There's a lot of churches that I see that are missing the mark. However, I'm thankful because I'm actually a member of the Faith Center with Bishop Henry Fernandez, and I got to just throw a shout out to Bishop Fernandez because he is the type of guy that's doing everything that you just said, and that's one of the reasons why his church is prospering the way that it does.
Yes,
Bishop does he did a huge conference that he put on for the church for free, and guess what? He brought in different people who taught on government contracts.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There's a small business seminar that he does. He's actually getting ready to do a conference, Becoming Your Best Self. But so my point I'm making is that those that are willing to make the investments back into the people, like you're saying,
yes,
you're going to receive a return.
Yes.
But you have to. We are our biggest resource as people, and it's not enough for us just to preach to people and get them to just to dance and shout, and run all over the church and speak in tongues, and nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But then that same person goes back to the broken home, trying to figure out, how they're going to keep the lights on. But the ministry has to go beyond that.
Yes, it does. It does have to go beyond that.
Yeah, shout out to Bishop, though. Shout out to Bishop because he is doing it. I respect his leadership, and I'm sure there are others like him. But I'm just saying we need to seek out those type of examples, man. If I were a pastor, I pray God doesn't make me.
Sound like you running. Sound like you running. Wait.
Bro, I would answer the call. Jesus. We used to be youth pastors. My wife and I.
Yes, I remember.
For about 10 years. And I tell you, man.
Listen, you already know. I've been there, and listen, it's not for the weak. It's not for and like anybody would tell you, man, it's still there. I got different people, that was a part of Word Faith, still. Cause man, when you gonna start it, man, listen. Those
Stokes, I ain't trying to convince you, especially after I just said I don't want God to make me one. But man, you were a great pastor. You love your people, and you were effective, man. And so I probably shouldn't be the one saying this, but I don't think God done it. After I just begged God not to.
After you just begged God not to, listen, don't tell nobody, because you've been a youth pastor, and I don't see you operating work, and and then you have your wife is showed the man. Listen, talking about a prayer boy. Listen, she can pray people from under the pew. But listen, man, it's definitely that role and that title. And my thing is, man, listen, once you answer that call, man, and you step into that, man, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different, listen, I could keep going on in there, but we're not going to do that because we definitely for the wrap things up. But however, man, listen, I think, the knowledge that you have and the wisdom that you have, man, you're a great leader and you're a great person. And, you don't see that, here these days, and you don't, experience that, in every church or setting or people, period, because everybody, say, hey, I'm a Christian, but then, don't really have the fruit of a Christian. So, I really believe, I really, believe God just, hey, listen, if he calls you or if he tells you to step out. Now I've been told you have it on your life, and I've been told you.
You did.
I've been told you that, man. But however, everything is in timing.
My thing is I never want to limit just to a building, man. Like y'all say, Jesus outside.
Listen.
I caught that. And so for me, I'm not opposed to doing the traditional pastor. I'm just seriously, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
But I do think that with social media and just the way technology is right now, we don't have to go in those walls and still walk in those
Listen,
roles.
that's
man.
right.
You know, people need pastors, even if it's just a digital platform. They may
Absolutely.
never come into a church with you. You know,
Absolutely.
but they just need that anointing. So I'm not opposed. However God say do it.
Right.
Hey,
But
wait.
listen, can I share one thing, because I want to tie this all together?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just a quick nugget.
Go ahead.
Because I know we were talking about wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to offer a little bit of clarification, because a lot of times when we say wisdom, knowledge, understanding, it kind of gets lumped all into the same thing,
Yes,
right?
yes,
But
yes.
but there are actually three very specific things, right?
Yes.
And we're going to go through this real quickly just so everybody understand. But the first level, if you will, is actually knowledge, right? Knowledge is you have the knowledge of a bunch of different bits of information, right? You have retained knowledge of bits of information, right? Right. Now, and then the next level is understanding.
Yes.
And understanding is, you know, how those bits of information
Work together.
interchange with each other.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
So let's make it practical. Let's look at a car for a second, right? So I can look at a car and I can say, okay, that's a steering wheel.
Yes.
That's a tire. That's a back seat. I'm not that mechanical, but I look in. Okay, the oil goes there. I may have knowledge about the car,
Right.
right? But I don't have an understanding of how those pieces all come together to make that car run.
Right.
I don't have a mechanic has the understanding
Yeah.
of something I may have knowledge of.
Okay.
All right, you follow?
Yes.
So I'm using a car, but just take that thought to expand this out a bit. So you have knowledge is we collect information. Understanding is we learn how those bits of what we know, how they interconnect with each other.
Right.
And the last thing is wisdom is knowing and understanding how to use what you know
Yes.
and
Yes.
understand
Yes.
in order to produce a beneficial benefit.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So wisdom now takes what I know and what I understand, and now I'm able to manipulate it, not to use a negative connotation word, but I'm able to utilize what I understand in a way that it produces a beneficial outcome.
Good stuff. Good
That's
stuff.
wisdom.
Good stuff, man.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good
So,
stuff.
so sometimes people may have knowledge. Sometimes they may even have understanding,
Right.
but they don't have wisdom. Right?
Yes,
I'll go back
yes.
to me with the photography. Yeah, I had knowledge. I've been doing it for a while. I know what a camera and a lens, that's the knowledge. I understood how I can use all these things to do photography,
Yes.
but I was lacking the wisdom
Yes.
to be able to use what I understood to produce a beneficial outcome. And once I tapped into the wisdom, I was able to take what I understood,
Yes.
and now I can produce a beneficial outcome, which ultimately led to me making more money with working less time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you have knowledge, you have understanding, and you have wisdom. Now, understanding and wisdom, remember I told you they have personalities?
Yes.
They're
yes.
almost like cousins, right? The Bible talks about wisdom in a feminine way.
Okay.
If you look at it, it describes wisdom in feminine terms.
Yes.
It'll always say wisdom, she, her, right? So that's how it defines. And it does the same thing for understanding. It'll refer to it as she or her if you look at it, right?
Okay.
And so wisdom and understanding walk very close together.
Okay.
Right? Kind of like how goodness and mercy,
Oh, yes.
Walk
Good
together.
stuff. Yes.
Right?
Good stuff. Yes.
how they come together.
Yes.
Wisdom and understanding come together because you cannot operate in wisdom unless you have understanding.
Okay. Okay. That's
Right?
good stuff.
But we have to be willing to go through the stages to be able to get the full manifestation. So again, I don't want to get too heavy, man. I just
Listen,
this is what he blessed me to be able to do, man.
listen,
And,
I enjoy
I'm
it.
hoping that it's going to bless some other people.
I enjoy it. Real quick, man. Listen, I want you to go ahead and let the people know where they can find you and where they can actually, get this, information. And, real quick before we take it in, man, we going to go ahead and, let you, share your platform and where they can find you real quick.
Appreciate that. So I'm building this thing slow.
Okay.
Right now, I've been mostly sharing to Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
Okay.
So if you look up Kenneth Bridget or Wisdom is Currency.
Yes.
If you put that in, it should come up on Facebook and again TikTok and also Instagram. What I've been doing here initially is just sharing little small videos, things that can be used on reels and stuff like that. Just dropping some free thought,
Yes.
just to kind of get people's attention.
Okay.
Right? And the second thing, I did create a YouTube channel which is called Wisdom is Currency.
Okay.
Right now, I have about 14 videos that are a part of the A Day in the Journey series.
Okay.
And that's where I've been chronicling the journey, right?
Yes.
So people can go on. They're like maybe 30 minutes. And they're just me kind of talking about where I'm at today, whatever God may have shared that day.
Okay.
Those are little kind of like longer form videos.
Okay. Okay.
What I am going to be doing, because I want people to connect, is within the next 30 days, I'm going to do a teaching called Creating a Cycle of Prosperity in Your Life.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Creating a cycle of prosperity in your life. The core of that teaching is the Wisdom is Currency teaching.
Okay.
But I'm
okay.
going to do it as a series, like over, like, I don't know, maybe a couple of nights. We're going to break some things down and really slow things down.
Okay.
And that we're going to do within the next 30 days.
All right. All right.
So I will, if people would want to connect, they will want to go to the YouTube. They will want to go to the TikTok, Wisdom is Currency. YouTube is Wisdom is Currency. Facebook, there's Wisdom is Currency.
Okay.
And of course, again, my name is Ken Bridget.
All right, man. Listen, man, I really appreciate you, man, and this has been an awesome
Appreciate you,
time,
brother.
man. Listen, this has been great. You already see that, to reach out to my brother, man, and to connect with him. You want to go to TikTok, man. You want to go to YouTube and Instagram under Wisdom is Currency, man. And this has been a dynamic time, man. This has been awesome, man. We definitely got to have our brother back on, man. And I'm telling you, this has definitely been awesome, man, and I really appreciate you joining with us and coming on, man,
Appreciate
and
you, man.
teaching us, man. I've learned some things today too, as well, man. So listen, man, I really appreciate you, man, and you already know I love you, man. And I'm telling you, you on your way. You on your way. You is on your way.
I appreciate you, man. And look, like I said, so it's a lot of stuff that you and I did that are going to be instrumentally used, brother. So don't think nothing that we did before was for naught. I see it. I see it where it's going to plug in.
Hey, listen, you know me. I'm already ready. I've been ready from the start. But listen, man, we going to get up out your face and up out your ear, man. So listen, I'm your boy, Selfless the Artist. I'm your brother. I'm your nephew. I'm your cousin. But I ain't your daddy.
That's your boy Mario. We out.
And we're out of
Mario.
here.
Take care.
All right, man. Peace out, man.
Bye-bye.
That was hurting my ears.